Welcome, Sean Campus, to our Sunday Strength. And so this week I'm actually doing something a little bit different. And different thing is that I am going to be focused on trying to bring you guys a series during the week. And so I'm going to use our Sunday Strength to get the series kind of kicked off. Um, and and then through the week I'll produce a couple of more videos that will help us with that. But the overall series is about having an emotionally intelligent relationship. And so today will be the start of that, and us being able to discuss um, how us knowing ourselves and having self awareness could actually change our marriage overnight. So, how it could switch things up. So, the first thing that I'm going to recognize is I think that a lot of times our relationships, we are struggling and kind of in the midst of it all, and not knowing exactly how to do it. And so it's hard to get out of that place where we find, fault in each other, and we can clearly see the reasons that somebody else isn't doing the right things. And in most cases, they're probably not doing the right things because we are all human dealing with our own hurts. And so it's a struggle. And when we see what other people are doing, and when we're really aware of that, it takes our ability to move out. And so things actually get worse. I think we kind of get really sucked into how bad the situation is. And that grows for us because we're hyper aware of that situation, that our relationship just isn't where it needs to be. And it can never get to where it needs to be because my partner isn't going to do it differently. What if in our relationship we had a different culture, though? What if we had a different way of being able to see things in our relationship? Starting with the idea of self awareness. And so, what does self awareness actually look like? How do you get to a place where it can actually change your marriage? And so, let's go over that really quick. The first thing, and this is something that I think is a superpower that we have that we don't tap into enough of, and that is the idea of awareness itself. And so, being able to just be aware of what's going on with you emotionally, what are the thoughts that you have, what are the interactions that you end up having because of that, right? And so you're going to have some thoughts or some kind of hook points that happen to you where your body just remembers what's going on, and then you have some feelings that follow that scenario. Are you aware of all of those situations? And then what are you doing to cope with those scenarios? And we're not talking about whether it's good or bad at this point in time. We're just talking about awareness of all of that. And so that's a big time deal for us to be able to just be aware that those scenarios are there. Okay. I think the second thing is after you're able to grow some awareness, if you can look at what is the way that I'm dealing with these situations. So can I go back to the drawing board? Like, what are my initial points of getting hooked, and how do I do those scenarios differently? And so, as an example, um, if and I use this frequently because I think it happens way often with a lot of couples, but if your partner is coming to yell at you and that does something to you, um, what are the thoughts that you have? What's the memories that you have? I want you to look at those situations and become more aware of that experience, because I want you to be able to break that experience down for yourself. The more that you can break that experience down, you could understand that. And this is going to be a tricky thing for you to do because it's not the normal way of us thinking, but you'll start to be able to separate out, man, it's less really about what my partner is doing, and it's more about the definitions and beliefs that I have to start turning over. And so you start turning over those beliefs and processing those hard experiences. And now the things that your partner is doing, they hook you less in these scenarios. Okay, so if we stay with the idea of our own self awareness, the only part that we care about in that is what are my beliefs and what are my thoughts that are leading me to that situation. Okay. The second thing is knowing the feeling aspect of it. And so, at some rate, how I feel about these scenarios is creating a certain kind of interaction for me. And so, if I can put those two things together, the feeling that I got is taking me to this kind of interaction, what's the link, right? So if I feel put out, or if I feel less than, or if I feel unseen, what am I going to in behaviors? Well, I might be going to shutting down, I might be going to yelling, I might be going to anything in between the two, right? And so as that's happening, I want to see what are the things that I have to do to switch over that sense that one is the feeling, and we're going to do that in the thoughts area, but then two is the behavior that comes with that. So what do I have to do to be able to switch that over? So if you're aware of how to do the thoughts differently, your feelings are going to automatically change. But sometimes the thing that we recognize the most is the feeling, right? I got angry, and so I start doing this whenever I get angry, and that might be a good place to start, right? Just looking at what are your behaviors doing, and then what are they causing in the moment. So if you're able to do this for yourself and look at, um, if you're able to go over and say, okay, I am, this is my thoughts, these are my experiences that have happened to me, and this is why I feel this way. And then now I'm going to say these are the behaviors that are going on. How can I manage all of this, right? And being able to manage this comes with us being able to ask ourselves the right questions, right? So what are the right questions that you can ask? The right questions you can ask is, one is, what do you actually want to be doing in your relationship? And this helps us a lot with self-assessment, because right now we're going based on things that we've already known. So everything that we've already known is going to keep taking us back to the same spot in our relationship. So what I've known is all my belief systems. What I've known is my previous experiences, but I have a different destination in my relationship. So me informing my interactions, um, based on informing my interactions on the things that I want to be a part of, will be a huge deal. And so you start asking questions about that. What do I actually want the interaction to look like? If my partner comes in and is upset, does that mean that we're getting a divorce? And does that mean that we need to have an argument right now? Does it mean that I need to see less of them, or does it mean that they are less than because of it? What does it actually mean for me? And the more that I can start teasing that out, and the more I can start drawing that up to match more like I want our relationship to be, that gives me the place that my actions need to go to. And so now it's up to me to just keep working on moving all of my actions um, into that space. Okay. So if you're able to do all those scenarios where first you figure out what's going on and grow an understanding of it, where you're able to manage yourself a little bit better based on the reflection that you're doing, based on the places that you actually want to be in your relationship, if you're able to do all of those things, then you're going to keep getting better. Because what we know is self awareness, at one moment in your life, you could be really good about it. And another moment in your life, you could be less good about it. And all of that can just change in one day or one night or one relationship circumstance, where you're not the same person anymore based on what's going on now. It doesn't even have to be a relationship circumstance. You could just start a new job, and now you're a different kind of person. I need to still maintain my awareness of myself, and it will definitely have an effect on my marriage. What would that look like? Imagine having your relationship where two people are working on being able to be more self-aware of what's going on in their life. They know and they understand what their thoughts and beliefs are, what their experiences are. They end up creating some of their feelings. They know what the feelings are. They end up in some of the behaviors that they're doing, right? Both of you, if you're both working at that, and you can come to each other and talk to each other about that, that helps us to just keep our journey growing, to grow our self-awareness and really know what it takes to be in this relationship in a different way. Okay. And so I gave you some key points. Please go back and make sure you watch that. But more than anything, watch your marriage change over once you start implementing the idea of self-awareness and being able to really grow things around your self-awareness. And so one of my favorite songs is that idea of the one that says, um, I'm starting with the man in the mirror, right? That's one of my favorites. And the reason it's one of my favorites is because that message says, like, if before I look around and do any kind of like getting other people to change, I'm going to have to do that on my own. And so this will truly change your life around and your marriage around and give you something else. Make a culture of this inside of your home. And I think you're going to be in a good spot. A good place to start is in our marriage communication masterclass. We have one going on right now. You can jump into that one, or you can start when we start in our next one. Either way, sign up, and we'll get you into the communication masterclass with you or you and your partner, whoever is ready to go. We're ready to have you in there. All right, you guys. Look forward to seeing you guys in our next class of our series, or actually our next, I don't know, video of our series. Right? You guys enjoy your Sunday. We'll talk to you soon.